Hello YouTube. There is a very interesting phenomenon in the Sea of Azov, and it takes place about once every 7 years, more or less. The Sea of Azov it's a sea in Eastern Europe, connected to the Black Sea by narrow, about 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles, Strait of Kerch, and it sometimes is regarded as the northern extension of the Black Sea. The sea is bounded by Russia on the east, by Ukraine on the northwest, and the Crimea on the southwest. And you can attribute that territory to either Russia or Ukraine, depending on your view of the situation. Now, the Tamань occupies the site of the ancient cities of Hermonasa and Tmutarakань. From the end of the 15th century until 1783, this was the site of the Turkish fortress. And for the first time, the rumble coming from under the water surface was noticed at the end of the 18th century. Then these lands were actively developed by the Cossacks, who became the first witnesses of strange things that happened in Tamань. Then a settlement was created on the territory of the village. It stretched right up to the present Temryuk. The inhabitants of these territories began to observe the oddities that happened to the sea. They also came up with a legend about a whale that lived in the local waters. Sailing past the shore, it spewed a stream of mud onto land or into the sea, which even formed a small island. However, it sometimes disappeared due to the effects of the current. All this was accompanied by trembling of the earth. But most of all, the local population was then afraid not of the strange whale, but of the consequences of his unexpected visit. No one could predict when it would appear, and whether anyone would suffer from the eruptions. The first scientific description of the phenomenon, made back in 1791, did not have too many differences from the legend I just told you about. However, we're not talking about a whale. Researchers mention crackling, underground rumbling, as well as pillars of mud above the surface of the water. The presence of the island, which was formed in a strange way and also disappeared, is also indicated. And so, here is the description. There is a mysterious island on the Sea of Azov near the village of Golubitskaya. It appears here once every 6 to 8 years and then disappears. Yes, in the old days the locals believed in a beautiful legend. They say that a huge whale lives in the waters of Azov, and when it gets angry, it throws mud jets from the depths of the sea out with a powerful roar. That's how the island appears. However, in fact, everything turned out to be simpler. So why does this amazing and frightening whale appear in the middle of the water and then disappear and then reappear? I already told you that the first mention of written mention of Mud Island dates back to 1791, when people began to actively settle on the coast. They noticed that the appearance of a mysterious object in the sea is preceded by something like a volcano. So they began to talk about it. The island is a volcano. And as it turned out, they were right, because it is to the mud volcano that this natural miracle owes its appearance. In 1791, its eruption and the formation of the island were described in detail by the famous traveler and natural scientist from Germany, Peter Simon Pallas. The last time the mud volcano in the village of Golubitskaya erupted was in 2015. Then in the middle of the sea, a mud lake with the length of 1/3 of a kilometer first appeared, and then it transformed into an island 2 meters high. It didn't last for too long. Gradually it was washed away by the sea waves until the next eruption. And its predecessor appeared in 2008. Then the eruption lasted 3 days, and the resulting island was smaller, 100 by 70 meters. The height above the water level reached 2.5 meters. It is curious that there are a lot of mud volcanoes on the Tamань Peninsula, about 500. But this one is of universal interest to vacationers and locals because the island is located in the sea very close to the shore, besides directly opposite the beach. So on the island you can see mud craters, thanks to which its surface looks like the surface of a mysterious planet from some fantastic movie. The constant bubbling and hissing of these mini craters adds to the effect. Well, according to scientists, the mud volcano does not pose any danger to vacationers and locals on the shore. It never reaches the land, and there was not a single case that any of the people suffered from it. But it is very dangerous to approach a volcano during the eruption because people can die. The fact is that along the mud flows poisonous gas, petroleum products, and volcanic debris come out of the sea, flying out at great speed. The island itself is a swamp inconsistency in which you can get bogged down. Especially insidious is the fact that the mud on many parts of the island is crusted on the outside, which creates the illusion that the surface is solid. However, as soon as you step on it, it immediately cracks under the weight of the human body. It's like trying to walk through a pond in winter, barely covered with ice. At the same moment, you will go to the bottom. However, not everyone holds this opinion. For example, the organizers of trips to the mud island, such as carried out every time after its formation, claim that unlike the swamp abyss, mud cannot tighten a person, but on the contrary pushes him out, or her out. As for the mass that came out of the bowels of the earth, some doctors claim that the mud spewed from the volcano has healing properties, since it is rich in various useful trace elements, for example iodine, bromine, and selenium. An interesting fact is connected with one of the eruptions of the mud volcano in Golubitska. In the late 1980s, it was planned to build a Crimean nuclear power plant nearby, and as you know, this project had both supporters and opponents like everywhere else. So it was this volcano that helped to quickly abandon the construction of the nuclear power plant. Geologists and seismologists, of course, warned engineers and designers about its obstinacy, but they did not consider it dangerous for the construction of a power plant. And then in 1988, the volcano woke up and got angry. The eruption, which occurred at the end of the summer of 1988, is considered the most powerful in the entire history of observations. A huge crater appeared within a few hours after the eruption began, and a 7-meter island was formed a day later. A month later, it reached 70 meters in length, and soon, as an additional argument, the volcano woke up 2 more times in a row, in the summer and autumn of 1989. Ecologists have 2 opinions about how dangerous the mud volcano in the village of Golubitska is for the environment. Some note that such volcanoes have more than once been the cause of local pollution of the Sea of Azov with petroleum products. For example, 7 years ago, after the eruption of this volcano, their concentration in water was 2 g/kg. Others, although they recognize the negativity impact of this volcano and its like on the environment, roughly note the level of pollution of the Sea of Azov as a result of such an eruption is negligible in comparison with the damage that the human beings themselves cause. This includes shipping, oil production, and the work of industrial enterprises. But of course, so this is what I wanted to let you know. It's a very interesting phenomenon, and if you ever come to the Sea of Azov, a very pleasant place, remembering many decades ago, you will see maybe for yourself, or maybe not. And I'll bring you more interesting phenomena. It doesn't all have to be paranormal, but very strange sometimes. And please support my work if you can through the links you will find in the description to this video. Please tell others, and please like my videos. Thank you.